Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, One Book or Novel at a Time. I will continue to read another amazing story from the book Boundless from Miracle Austin. Truly amazing, remarkable stories. Different genres, different themes, different lessons to be learned. Just want you to know that Miracle Austin has provided permission for me to do these read alouds and record myself while I read some of her stories from her amazing book Boundless. So with that, I will continue. In the next story, Slippers. The shining star of El Circo Increíble belonged to Julia, the ballerina. She twirled up and down the flaming tightrope night after night, without a single pause. The ringmaster, Galileo, begged her to allow him to add a net for her safety. "You silly little man, you've asked me this question too many times. The crowd loves it, and they love me. I'm Julia Diaz, the most famous ballerina of all, and I won't ever need a net because I'll never fall." She swatted him away. She was right about the crowd adoring her. They always tossed out silver coins and fluffy crimson canary roses. In her dressing room, some of her wealthy fans frequently left her lavish outfits or expensive tickets to travel exotic lands when the circus was on break. One night, after her performance, an 11-year-old girl on rickety crutches made her way through the crowd to reach Julia. She had attended almost a dozen of her performances over the years, and posters of the dancer painted her walls from floor to ceiling. That night, she was going to finally meet her. After multiple camera shots and interviews by the news media flock, the child finally had a rare moment alone with her idol. "Oh, Miss Julia, could you please sign my autographed book and take a photo with me? You're so beautiful, and I want to be just like you one day." Her smile was intoxicating and full of life, although her front teeth were missing. Julia looked at her and gently pressed her ultraviolet tutu down with both of her hands. She then brushed her hair up with her hands to make sure not one hair was out of place in her tight bun. She hugged her 16-inch waist as she bent down to the girl's height. She signed her book and took the photo. But then, she did the most horrible thing. Before the child shuffled away, one hop at a time, Julia whispered in her ear, "Sorry, sweetie, but there will never be anyone like me. I'm your one and only. You would never cut it as a ballerina. Plus, you'll never be pretty enough." The little girl's eyes filled with tears, and she was eventually swallowed up by the crowd. Halloween night arrived, which was one of the most special nights of the year, with costumes and fireworks. Julia always represented the portrait of beauty, but that night, she looked absolutely breathtaking, with golden glitter shimmering in her hair. Her iridescent orange and black tutu lit up, with matching ballet slippers and sparkly purple ribbons, which laced up all the way to her knees. She courtesied towards the crowd and pranced slowly to begin her climb up the 713 steps. Before she climbed the first one, an older lady appeared out of nowhere. A scarlet cloak with an oversized hood covered her body. She held the most unusual bouquet of swaying black roses with silver tips. Julia couldn't take her eyes off of them. She reached out to touch one, but it prickled her index finger. Ouch! She screamed as she placed her finger in her mouth to suck the blood. Get this crazy hag out of here! The lady smiled as two security officers escorted her out of the big tub. Julia stood at the top of the platform to prepare what she had done over 100,000 times without a wobble. As she started to twirl over the flaming tight rope, she felt something sharp inside of her slippers. She continued to spin until she went out of control and fell. Her body shattered inside. The crowd cried out and stood to their feet. Galileo yelled out to workers to close the curtains immediately. He ran to her and stooped down. Julia could barely speak, but she managed to point towards her shoes. Tears streamed down Galileo's cheeks. Julia's arms flopped down to her sides before she took her final breath. When the stretcher arrived, Galileo helped to lift her body from off the ground, and that's when he noticed thin twirling glass thorns protruding from the top and bottom of her ballerina slippers. He gasped. 3 months later, no one showed up at El Circo Increíble. Galileo packed up the last box in his office and found a note stuck behind a picture frame with Julia's photo on his desk. He unfolded it and read it. Sometimes beauty can be a curse, not just for one, but everyone. The end. Wow. Another amazing story found on Boundless by Mirko Austin. Wow, that's all I gotta say about this one. Slippers. Thank you for being amazing readers. Thank you for tuning in to one book or novel at a time. And you will see me on the next video. Have an amazing day.